Hey sneaker friends, today we're gonna have a look at another basketball shoe. This time I actually have the men's size 7 Lebron 16. Now I posted a video and it was actually the big kid size 6.5. So a little bit of the information was wrong. So in this video I'm gonna tell you all about the men's size 7, tell you how it's different from the big kid size. There are definitely some differences. I bought the men's size 7 Lebron 16 on Nike's website. It was $185. They have a few different colorways and they're talking about a lot of different colorways to come out with. Now this shoe just came out fall of 18, so it is a brand new basketball model for the 16 versus the 15. If we start with the outsole, you're gonna see an outsole that is very much like the big kids. Now there is a difference though. This outsole is slightly thicker. So from the bottom of the outsole to the wrap up of the airbag, I measured about 8 to 8.5 millimeters, depending on where you measure at. The lug height is about 2.5 millimeters, and it does go down to thinner in some of the areas around the perimeter. So the lug height is about the same as the big kids, but the overall thickness seems to be slightly thicker. The hardness is about 70 to 75, so it is the same hardness that's on the kid's shoe. Now, if we take a look at the midsole, which in this case is a layer of foam with 3 airbags. In the men's shoe, there is zoom in the forefoot, the midfoot, and the heel. Now, the heel airbag is a little bit different in that it has zoom air in the center of it, but it does have kind of max in the back of the heel and the front of the heel. So you have a combo in the heel of max and zoom air. If you recall, the big kid shoe only has max air in the heel and it has the zoom in the midfoot and forefoot. The other thing to note about this cushioning system is there is a foam layer on top of it, and you can see from the bottom that all 3 of these airbags are connected by a layer of TPU. Now that layer of TPU, I'm assuming it's TPU, it's probably similar to what the airbag film is, also acting a little bit as a stiffener or a plate. Now you do have complete splits in the outsole, which are acting as flex groove, and you do have large flex grooves in the forefoot. So all of that is providing you with a little bit more flexibility, but a little bit of stiffness for torsion in the midfoot of the shoe. The foam is the same as the big kids. It is about 50 hardness. It looks the same, feels the same, not much difference at all. The upper is Battle Knit 2.0. The only thing I really noticed different from the big kids shoe is the extra row of holes that you can lace through. And from several comments on my Big Kids Lebron 16 review, it's really challenging to relace through that secondary set of holes. But otherwise, you have a full Battle Knit upper. It's fully lined. The tongue is gusseted. The heel has some collar foam around the ankle. You have a full pull tab. You have the same heel. You have the same heel emboss of the lion with the same fabric. All the logos are quite muted on the shoe. Now, the strobel in this shoe is foam. It's about 1.5 millimeters of a soft foam to get you a little more extra cushioning. The sock liner has the Lebron King Lion logo on it, and it is about 5.25 millimeters of open cell foam. It is tacked down, but it is quite easy to remove out of the shoe. It is also molded in the heel to give a little bit of shaping and slight more comfort. One thing I did notice that some friends from Midsole Mondays or Monday Midsoles were talking about was that the Lebron doesn't have an outrigger on it like what is seen on LeBron shoes on TV. Now you will notice that it does have a little bit of outrigger, and for those that are kind of new to this, an outrigger is considered a lateral kind of the midsole kind of will jet out a little bit. It's called an outrigger to give you more stability from medial to lateral side. Now, it does have a little bit of outrigger on it very clearly. The airbag comes out, the midsole comes out, but it isn't probably as much as I would have thought would be on the shoe. It's good and it's bad. A little bit of outrigger is good. Too much can be just simply too much stability for a lot of people. But it is a fine line in creating and how much do you make for that based on the different wearers of the shoe. Now, when I weighed these men's size 7s, the right came in at 449 grams and the left came in at 444 grams. That's a difference of 5 grams between the pair, which is a little bit unexpected. I would expect them to be the exact, very close to the same weight. weight based on the quality and the price point of this shoe. Your total weight is 893 grams for the pair. Now, if we compare to the Big Kid shoes, which is a 6.5 youth, which is slightly smaller than this men's 7, about a half size, give or take a little bit, the total weight of those shoes for the pair was 674 grams. Literally, the men's is 893 grams, the Big Kids is 674 grams. That's over 200 grams more for the adult shoe, which tells you that there's definitely some more material and more support in the men's shoe than the Big Kids shoe. Another big difference between the Big Kids shoe and the men's is price point. The men's is $185 and the Big Kids shoe is $160. Now, overall, they basically have the same technology in it. The men's shoe has a little bit more zoom in it than Max Air. If you recall, the heel pod of the Big Kid shoe doesn't have any zoom in it. And the upper seems to be slightly different. I'm guessing that the upper is a bit more reinforced in the adult versus the Big Kid shoe. Other than that, there are minor detail changes. One thing I noted on the Big Kid shoe was that the emboss of the heels were very different. You don't see quite the difference in the men's shoe. They look identical. They're almost impossible to tell between the difference. All right, that pretty much covers it for the men's version of the LeBron 16. Let me know what you guys think. This is definitely a heavier shoe. You can tell it's a bit heavier. And I'm impressed. It's very similar to the kids' shoe for the price point, which the kids' shoe is still $160, which is still a lot. But this shoe compared to the Kyrie and the KD, the adult version definitely continues with the technology way more than in the KD or the Kyrie 4. All right, hope you guys have an awesome day. See ya.